Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Financing Freedom channel. Today, we're going to look at our October trade recap and see how our trades fared for the month of October. We were rather profitable, and let's look in there and analyze these trades and see what went right, why we chose them, and then, of course, in hindsight, it's always easier, but we'll see how we played out and how we did well. So diving into Fidelity, October 18th here, we rolled some calls that we had. We had an $11 call on Ford that would expire October 18th. This would have been in the money, and this call would have been assigned. So these shares of Ford would have been taken from us. Ford was coming up on dividends, and we didn't want to miss out on those. And so we rolled this call so that way we could continue to profit and collect those dividends. So we moved it to November 8th, increased our strike price to $11.50. We paid $12 to close the call for October, and received $26.32 in payment for rolling that to November. So a net profit there. Then on the 21st, we sold 11 $11 puts for Ford for November 22nd. So if Ford was below $11 on November 22nd, we were going to buy 1,100 shares. If it was above $11, then we just got to keep this sweet premium of $674. Now, how did this fare? As we scroll up here, we will see that this Ford put expired November 22nd. I got this alert on November 25th is when it was penciled into our activity here on Fidelity. And so that was a wash. Ford was above our strike price, so we just got to keep that sweet premium. Now, as you can see here, there is a little bit of activity for the month of November in here. We'll get into that in our November trades analysis and break that down a little bit. So that'll be our next video. October 31st, we did receive $46.38 of interest paid for just holding cash in our account. Now, this Ford trade. Let's jump into the chart here. In trading view, this is backed up in replay mode to Monday, October 21st. This is what our chart looked like. If you look to the left, you see this big gap. We're expecting Ford to fill this. So that's what makes me bullish on Ford. Probably $12.76, somewhere in there. We're at least going to come in, trade up to that. Then price might change direction at some point. But I don't see anywhere else that Ford would likely go. The general market sentiment was bullish. And so with Ford, we had that sell-off. We're going to come back to this zone here that you see. The question is just when. And speculating, I'm feeling pretty good about going there. This is, again, back in October. Generally, these gaps are completely filled, but at least generally to the 50% zone. So we know we're at least going maybe $12 and some change, maybe even clear up to $13 and maybe 60 cents there. So eventually that's coming. Ford had been moving up. There is a gap here. This has been filled. If you look right here, we've come back and filled in these fair value gaps. So truly Ford is either going to maybe play sideways or move upwards. And here's our 200 EMA at $11.62. That might be some resistance, but we'll see. And if we break above that, we should play well. Now, here is our entry or our strike price, $11. If Ford is below this at the expiration, we're going to buy it. And if it's above, we just get to keep our premium. So let's fast forward here. And here we are. This vertical line is our expiration, November 22nd. And as you see, price closes above that strike price of $11. So we got to keep our premium. Also got to keep our capital to use for the next month's trades. So Ford worked out in our favor. There was also a ex-dividend date over this time period as well. So we did get the dividends for 100 shares of Ford, which I believe is like $15. So nothing exciting, but we got to keep $15 on top and kept that premium as well. Now, the other company we traded back in October was American Airlines. Now, American Airlines was a little bit different. We did roll some options, You see here on the 18th, we had an $11 call that we rolled to $11.50. And then we had an $11.50 call that we rolled to $12. Now, in doing so, this cost us a net price difference of $21.65, but did increase our potential profit to $78.35 if American Airlines was assigned. Now, that is coming due. Today is the 27th, so it'll be due in 2 days. We're going to go ahead and let those be assigned. The net wash on rolling those options, we'd have to go clear out to May to roll them up higher and collect a credit. So we're going to go ahead and let those get called away. We're going to make profit on those. You'll see that in the November trades analysis video, as where we will count that profit. But for the month of October, we counted as a negative $21.65 towards our bottom line. Now on the 21st for American Airlines, we sold 4 puts at the $13 strike price, and we sold 2 puts at the $12 strike price. Now, American Airlines, let's jump into the chart here. American Airlines on the 21st was sitting at $12.97. So $12 and $13 respectively were pretty solid bets. Looking left, we see that we haven't completely filled this gap at that point, so we could expect that this gap will fill. There's also an unfilled gap up here at $14.59. So we're bullish on American Airlines. Seeking Alpha did also have a buy quant rating. Again, I don't put necessarily a ton of bias into that or a ton of confidence per se into that, but it is made up of multiple different components. It does give it that buy rating. And because of that, it just gives me a little bit of peace when I look at this chart. I make this analysis and I'm just more confident with that. It's kind of reaffirming, if you will. So bullish, could go clear to $14.59. These are our strike prices, the $12 strike price and the $13 strike price. So as long as American Airlines ends above these, we will get to keep our premium and we don't have to buy any shares. Now, closing out for the month, we ended well above our $12 and $13 strike prices, and American Airlines came in, filled this gap, as you see, and came clear to this fair value gap. So $14.64 is currently where American Airlines is at. We've passed that November 22nd date, well above these areas. So get to keep that premium, didn't have to buy any shares. As you know, the call options that we rolled will be assigned at the end of this week, but that's okay. We're going to collect that capital appreciation and proceed from there. And we'll count that in our November profits. So for the month of October, jumping in here, in Fidelity, we made $735.19, which was a 3.74% return on our capital. And then in Charles Schwab, we made $379.48, which was a 3.88% return on the capital in that account. So the combined overall return, now this again includes our premium that we made from selling these puts. We did reduce the premium that it cost us for rolling those call options, but we'll see that return in the November analysis. And then we also did include the interest that was made. At Charles Schwab, we didn't make a whole lot of $1.12, but Fidelity, we did make $46.38 in interest. So all of this together combined made a total profit of $1,114.67, which was a 3.79% return on our capital just in 30 days. That's a pretty sweet return on our capital. Pretty excited about that. We have gone ahead and started our November trades, so we'll look at that in our next video, but pretty excited about what the month of November might bring us as well. Since April, we've returned $4,188.42, or 3.7% return on our total investment. Pretty exciting through this much of the year anyways. So we are shaping up, faring well every month, returning consistent profits. Gives me hope and excitement for November. We'll see how that plays out in our next video, where we review the November trades that we've taken just in the last couple of days And we will see how those fare out as we roll into December. So thank you for joining me today on this episode of our trade reviews for October of 2024. And thank you for joining me here on the Financing Freedom channel, where we are trying to continue to grow our wealth and eventually be able to live a financially free life. So please like and subscribe if you'd like to continue along on our journey here. And thank you for watching.